Greetings everyone, Slurgical here, and welcome to my Mordheim inspired modular terrain. I never thought I would be enjoying doing some medieval style terrain, but since I've done two of the Roll for Terrain challenges, I really enjoyed making those. So I'm going to have a series of medieval terrain for game. While creating this new setup for tabletop games, I decided to add magnets to my terrain. So basically I make a small tool where I put magnets on one end and the other end of that tool to opposite poles. I don't really understand the north and south and I get confused about that. It's probably easy, but my brain is so focused on just designing that I can't focus on, I'll be messing that up down the line. So I decided to make it a left side and a right side of the magnet. So one side is the left, so you pick up the terrain piece, you put it in front of you, and the left hole on the terrain, you put one magnet, which is positive or negative, that doesn't matter when you start. And then once you set that up, they all go that way, left to right. So before committing myself to making all the terrain after I glued magnets to the tool, I'm just testing to make sure the polarity is correct. Otherwise, I would have wasted all that time making all that terrain the wrong way. So like I mentioned, the left side matches with the left side of the terrain that's facing in front of you. So at first I just decided to put the pile of magnets like that, and it's just messy and clumsy and it's hard to separate them that way. So by taking them individually that way, it will fit perfectly. I would recommend using glue for that instead of glue gun, but my workspace and studio has eaten all my glue for some reason. I can't find it, so for the sake of this video, I'm just going to do a couple of towels using the glue gun. And I did leave a little bit of play in the holes where the magnet goes in, but if you put too much glue in the glue gun, well, it's not going to match up. It's going to be sticking out, and you don't want that to happen. So that's why using crazy glue or whatever glue you use works better. And the idea of switching polarity is that you can connect all those terrains. Okay, for the roads, they have to go a certain direction, but if you put a building or a rock or anything like that, you can really switch the terrain around in all directions. So it's really modular. And in this case, because I put too much from the glue gun, I'm gonna have just to remove this and redo the whole thing. See, it's trying to push it and all that, and it's just not working, sticking out too much. So just remove it, and unfortunately leave some residue. So with a knife or an X-Acto knife or anything, or pliers, because again my studio space ate my X-Acto knife, I'm going to be using a plier to try to scrape off the excess of glue gun. But then at the end, I know it's really going to worth it after this painful moment of picking out the glue gun. It does really good job to glue. Let's see the results after doing a couple of them. So you see they all have the magnets in the correct polarity, and it matches it, and it holds, and there you go, it's connected. So it's not going to fall apart. Well, I had a little bit of a glue gun dripping in the bottom there, so it kind of made some resistance so the tile separated. The main idea of the polarity thing is that you can rotate and attach the terrain any direction, like faces you want. This particular piece of terrain is an intersection for the main road, and you can see the separation in the middle is not for yellow line because it's medieval, but it's a drainage path for the water to go into the sewage system, and here's the grade for the sewage. So the water goes in and goes in there, or whatever other liquidy dirt. And you can change it, you can change the interface. So in this case there, you can drop in a well. So this is a city well that people come and get water from. And it just drops in, you can drop it in any direction you want. And it's modular in that sense that who knows what I can do in the future. I can have either a gallows for hanging bad people, or for displaying a criminal in a hanging cage. that they used to use in the medieval days. Aside from using the magnets to connect the tiles for the terrain, all the tiles are compatible with my framework system. As you can see, this is part of the framework that connects to make a full board. And underneath there's little holes that connects them. You just place them on top like that. You can always go and check out the video of the framework. It's on my list there. Framework is, you have to buy that, so it's for sale. But I also have other style of a connector system. And I call them nib-nub connectors. And why? Because I don't know how to call them. It looks like a little nib and a little nub. So, and those are free to download. If you go to my free pack 2, you can download them. And it's exactly the same type of connection that goes with a framework and all my major terrain style connectors. And you just place them underneath like that. And there's a different size of them for depending how you want your terrain to interconnect. If you don't want edges or anything like that, you just get the two knobs, nib-nub ones, and you just place on top of each other like that, and there you go. And it holds together, and you can rotate it and do whatever you want to do with it. All my terrain has that basic style of connections, so you can mix it up with sci-fi if you want. And see, this one is the four connector ones, so you can connect terrain in all directions. I know it's a bit annoying at first, but serve its purpose so you're not knocking things around. Once you have all the corners installed like this, you can just put your other terrain. And that piece I put there, it's just the city walls that I'm working on, and I'll be making a video for the city walls and release them as well as the roads and alleys, streets and alleys, sorry. Now that I mentioned that, let's dive into what's in this pack. Well, you can see this the main roads, and the main roads I just made one tile so you can rotate in different direction, and this is a main road with a T connector that goes into the alley. The alley is a bit not as wide as the main road, obviously, and the idea behind that is that there's a main road in the terrain that's an open space for combat, and you have the alley roads that goes along, and this is a T connection for the alley itself, and the buildings will be going in between, and you can rotate them, and they're modular as well. So everything is all my terrain, everything is modular and work together. And this is the variety of tiles I've done so far. I have a few more that I want to do, so you can have a more diverse street system and alley system. And we're going to go from there. This is the framework board I'm working on, and it's going to be 3 feet by 3 feet playing surface, and just gonna show you how it all goes together. My dog Quantum is gonna be roaming around while I'm working on that, so I'm just working on the main street there. I'm putting the first tile, and you see the connectors underneath. And this is a board I made with wood. I did a wood frame, and I glued with using PL Premium to glue the framework tiles. And this system is great because if you don't have a lot of room and you make a whole bunch of boards that take a lot of space, but making it modular like that, well, you have one basic board, like this one is 3 by 3, and you can lay it out whatever way you want because every single part of the terrain is modular, and each game is different. And you can also make 2 frames like that to have a 3 by 6, or at one point I'm going to do a 4 by 4 as well, so you can have a 4 by 8 playing surface board. As you can see, I did the main street going like this, and this is a T intersection with alley access. I'm just going to add the well into that intersection. And if you don't want the well, you can add the sewage grate into it. So all the water drips into there, and it can be an access to the sewage system that I will be creating later. And you can see this is just a little alley dead end that I put there. I'm just going to now add another straight street, main street connection and to the end of the board. So you can create the city whatever way you want or you need for your gameplay. You can see it's really modular. I changed things around. And here's I extended the alley to the dead end here. And there's a T connection there in the alley that can expand that alley, like just like that. And in between that alley and the main road on the left, I can always put a building or another feature for the board so you can enjoy gameplay. I'm still working on the terrain itself, so I won't be releasing those files quite yet. I still have to do some adjustments. And when I do that, I will also make a video that shows you the best way to print those tiles. As you can see now, you can see the layer lines on the top because I printed those tiles flat. Those three miniatures represents the three scales. On the left is 45, in the middle is 32, and on the right it's 28 millimeter. And they're science fiction. Why? Because I didn't expect to do anything like this. I'm full blown sci-fi kind of guy, and I haven't got any medieval style miniature. Now that will change because I'm really interested in exploring Mordheim and other medieval style gaming platforms and game system. Well, this is about it for this video. I want to thank you for taking the time watching this and being part of my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Anything you'd like to see that you would like me to design, I would love to do that. And I wouldn't have made this system at all, those tiles for medieval terrain, because without the help of the community that inspired me and said, hey, let's do this. Who knows what the future hold? Because I did not expect to enjoy doing any of that medieval stuff because there's so much of it out there. And I thought the demand was saturated, and it's not. So I'm going to be making a lot of that stuff. A mix of science fiction and medieval times, and maybe mix both terrain at the same time. Maybe having an ancient city with an advanced civilization living in those old ruins.